Okay, so we're ready for our warm-up part. We went over number 1 for the most part. Oh, sorry. Let me back up a little bit. I want to do a warm-up with our exit ticket. Okay. We went over number 1 pretty much yesterday at school. Okay. I'm going to flip this around. Remember that if we're looking at this, we're thinking about total number, equal groups, how many in the group. Is the total number of stars 7? No. And are there 14 groups? No. Is the total number of stars 14? I shouldn't even say stars. I should just say items because it doesn't matter if they're stars. It's the total number of items. Is it 14? Possibly. That's really all we need to know for right now. And are there 7 groups? Yes. Is the total number 2? Total number of items 2? No. Are there 14 groups? No. Is the total number of items 7? No. Because I know that I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And are there 2 groups? Definitely not. So I go back. Now I need to count. I just counted 14, so that's a yes. 1 circle, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 groups. Yes. Okay. Okay. So now I want to look at number 2. Did you struggle with number 2? Because I have to admit, boys and girls, I struggled with it when I was just preparing to do this lesson with you. Let's read what this says. Hanny has 20 cherries. She and 3 of her friends will each get the same number of cherries. How many cherries will each person receive? Okay, so she has 20 cherries. How many groups is she going to divide those cherries into? Did you say 3 groups? Or did you say 3 groups yesterday when you first tried this? That really goes to show how well you have to read this. Because, boys and girls, it's not 3 of her friends. It's her and 3 of her friends. So how many is that total? 4. Okay, so they've got 20 cherries. Here's her plate. And then she's got 3 friends. 1, 2, 3. They get to share 20 cherries. How many are going to go on each plate? Well, boys and girls, let's start with this. We don't want to just start going 1 for you, 1 for you, and 1 for you. We don't want to do that. It will work, to be quite honest with you, boys and girls. It's probably the longest, most cumbersome strategy you could use. Let's get an idea in our head first, and let's start with 4 times what equals 20. That might take you a minute. You might eventually come up with 5. Give 5 a try, and you can always change it around from there. So there's 4, 5. Five. So the question is, do I have 4 groups? Yes, I do. Are they equal? Do I have any left over? Nope. And is 4 times 5, 20? Yes. So that means 5 4 times. Okay? So our answer is 5. If she has 20 cherries and she shares them or divides them into 4, each person will get 5 cherries. Okay? So basically it's like saying there's 20 with 4 groups. Oh, shoot. I just lost my train of thought. All right. Well, we'll just keep going. All right. I wonder, though, how many of you got stuck on that at first. Okay. Manny has 15 photos. She wants to put an equal number of photos on each of 5 pages in an album. Which number sentence shows how many photos she should put on each page? Okay. So we got to think about this. They're not saying what's your name. They're saying what's your favorite color. Okay, but we're going to figure out the name first. All right, so 15 photos. She wants to put an equal number on each page for 5 pages. Okay, so basically we have 5 groups. And she wants it to look symmetrical. So she wants the same on each page. Okay. She has a total of 15 pictures. She wants equal groups of 5 pages. How many are going to be on each page? Use your pennies, boys and girls. You can also think in your head 5 groups times how many in each group equals 15. 5 times 3. Okay. So we have, if we do repeated addition, we have 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15. Okay. So again, back to that repeated addition. Okay. So the thing is, boys and girls, they weren't asking me what the answer was. Remember, they didn't say, what's your name? They said, what's your favorite color? Okay. So it says, which number sentence shows you how many photos managed to put on each page? So we're looking for 15 divided by 5 equals 3. Boys and girls, this is your best place to start because you know, for instance, oh, look at, they got smart. They started with all 15s. I was just about to say, if it starts with a 5 or it starts with a 3, you know that's not the right answer. So boys and girls, though, if we are dividing, are we going to have a subtraction sign, a multiplication sign? No. So we're down to the 2 at the bottom. And you might say, oh, well, gosh, Mrs. Mandeville, I picked both because it doesn't matter. You can switch them back and forth and they're still correct. And you're right. But this problem isn't asking you to put an equal number of photos on 3 pages. It's asking you to put an equal number of photos on 5 pages. Those pages are the equal groups, 5 equal groups. Okay, so we know it's going to be 15 divided by 5 equals 3. Okay, Amy is new to division. Explain what division means. That's question number 1. What symbol is used to show division? That's question number 2. And how to divide 12 items into 4 equal groups? That's question number 3. And then give the answer. Okay, let's take a look at that. I'm going to use my pennies again, but I'm going to erase first. Okay, so boys and girls, of course, your math guy probably is doing somersaults right now, right? Because you have to explain something, okay? But if I said to you, what is division, and you came up with the answer in your head, all you have to do is write down that answer, okay? So what does division mean? Okay. Division is about equal groups, okay? Division is, let's say, breaking the total into equal groups. Boys and girls, you know there's always that key word, and for multiplication it was groups. We really still are using that because it has so much to do with multiplication. So division is breaking the total. Let me see what the book says, see if I'm on the right track. Dividing is about equal groups. You divide to find out how many equal groups, or to find out how many are in each group. Okay? All right, the next question, so this was number 1. The next question is, what symbol do you use? Okay. You use the division to divide. Okay. And how do I divide 12 items into 4 equal groups? Okay, well, if I'm going to have 4 groups, let's go ahead and make them 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if I'm going to divide 12 into 4 equal groups, I'm thinking about that number family. 4 times what equals 3? I mean, I just gave you the answer. 4 times what equals 12? 4 times 3. Okay, and 4 times 3 equals 12. Okay? Division is breaking the total. You, of course, don't have to have this written. This is just the way my brain thought about it, but it has to be something like this. Division is breaking the total into equal groups. Use the division symbol to divide. 12 divided into 4 groups would have 3 in each group. Okay? All right. Hopefully 2 was the only one that was really tricky for you, and I can completely understand why. If we were in school, I would have talked to you about that, and I apologize. I didn't look at it before I sent you away to work on it today. Okay, so boys and girls, today we're going to be talking about division as repeated subtraction, the same way we used to talk about multiplication as repeated addition. Let's talk about 6 times 4. Okay, when we said 6 times 4, we could say 6 4 times, right? 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, right? 6 4 times. And then we could say that 6 plus 6 is 12, 6 plus 6 is 12, 12 plus 12 is 24. Okay, that was one of our strategies. And maybe for you guys, for some of you, repeated addition was a really strong strategy. Okay, well, now I want to show you how division can be like repeated subtraction. Okay, so let's see. We were using 6, 4. Were we using 6 and 4? Yeah, and 24. Okay. Well, I know that I have 20 pennies here, so let me get 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Boys and girls, if we're going to think about division as repeated subtraction as a strategy, okay, I'm going to go ahead and make an array with these pennies. I'm just going to go ahead and do 4 groups of 6. Sorry. Okay. 4 groups of 6. Okay. Well, if we're saying 24 divided by 4 equals blank, or we could be saying 24 divided by 6 equals blank. What we're thinking about, boys and girls, is if we have 24, how many groups of 4 can we pull out of that? So let's just check that out and see. And look at this array, boys and girls. Do you see 4 in this array? Hopefully you see it right here, right? You see 4 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, right? How many times could we pull a group of 4 or subtract a group of 4 out of this array? Well, let's see. If we take this out, if we subtract a group of 4, we could do it 1 time. Let's see. Let's say that's 1 time. Then we took another group of 4. That's 2 times. Here's another group of 4. 3 times. Here's another group of 4. Whoopsie. Sneaky little guy. That's 4 times. Here's another group of 4. We took that out 5 times, and then we have one more group of 4, 6 times. So we could subtract 4 from 24 6 times. So let me write down what that looked like, boys and girls. We had 24, and we took away 4. And then how many did we have? 20. So then we have 20 left, and I'm going to take away 4. And I have 16. Now I have 16 left, and I take away 4. How many do I have? 12. I have 12, and I take away 4. How many do I have? 8. I have 8, and I take away 4. How many do I have? 4. I have 4, and I take away 4. Now I'm down to 0. So how many times was I able to subtract a group of 4? Remember, a group of 4 out of that group of 20, that whole thing of 24, the total of 24. Well, I took it out 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. So basically I did 4 in 6 times. I had a group of 4 6 times. And when I did that, I was able to take out 24 pennies. Okay, now let's try that again. Before you decide you got it, or before you decide you're confused, let's try it again. All right, let's do maybe a smaller one. Let's do 3, 4, and 12. And you know what, boys and girls, I'm not going to write that. You don't have to have that fact family. Okay, let's just do, let's see. Let me see what question the book is asking, so I make sure I frame this the same way that the book does. Let's look at reteaching. Number 1. All right, let's go with that. So instead of, let's go with the 10 markers. Number 1 for reteaching, lesson 7-2, our side. It says 10 markers. There are 10 markers, 5 markers in each box. Okay, so let's look at our 10 markers. Okay, there's 5 markers in each box. Okay, so if there's 1 box, there's going to be 5 markers in there. If there's 2 boxes, there's going to be another 5. And if there's 3 boxes, there's going to be another 5, and so on and so on and so on, right? Each box would have 5 markers. Do you think that this is enough markers to fill all of those boxes if each one has to have 5? Let's start with our 10, and let's do our repeated subtraction. Let's take out the 5 for 1 box. So I'm going to take the 5 away. That's my 1 box. So I had my 10. I took away my 5. How many do I have left? I have 5 left. Okay. Now I'm going to take away another 5, put it in the other box. How many do I have left now? I don't even have enough to make that box, right? So I had 5 left. I took away 5 more. Now I'm at 0. So that's kind of what repeated subtraction is we're always trying to get down to that 0, where I have none left. All of my crayons are in the boxes. That tells me that it was equal. Because boys and girls, if I ended up with 1 crayon left, that would mean that one of my boxes wasn't going to be equal, right? So that's a good thing when I end up at 0. It means that all of them have been used and they all went into equal groups, okay? So do you see how that worked though? This was my 10. What I was trying to figure out is 10 divided by 5 equals what? So what I thought was, okay, if I've got 10 items, I'm going to remove a group of 5 and see how many times I can do it. So I removed a group of 5. I removed another group of 5. But then eventually, remember, here they were. So first I removed one group of 5. I took those out. Then I removed a second group of 5. But then I had none left. So I'm done. So how many times could I take 5 out of there? Only twice. Which is good because 5 2 times is 10. All right. So the answer to number 1 on the R side, how many boxes are there? There are 2, but not just 2. 2 what? 2 boxes. Let's look at number 2. There are 8 hamsters. 2 hamsters in each cage. All right. Here's my 8 hamsters. Okay. What I'm trying to figure out is, if there's 2 in each cage, how many cages am I going to need? Well, let's start pulling them out. I've got 8. If I take out 2 and I put them in a cage, I'd have 6. If I take out 2 and put them in a cage, now I have 4. If I take out 2 and put them in a cage, now I've got 2. And remember, we always want to end up with 0 because that means we have equal groups. Okay. I'm going to take my 2. Those are my cages. I'll take that 2, make 1 more, and now I get down to 0. How many times was I able to take 2 hamsters out of that group? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. So 8 divided by 2 equals 4. We're essentially thinking, boys and girls, if I have this group, how can I divide it up so that it is equal and it's fair for everybody? That's another word that I use sometimes to just try and get kids to understand, is that idea of fair. Because everybody knows whenever somebody got 1 more M&M than they did, right? So if we're going for fair, then, like I said, it might be like, okay, 2 for you, 2 for me, 2 for you, 2 for you. Okay, let's say I've got 4 friends. And then I could go through again. 2 for you, 2 for you, 2 for you, 2 for you. I'm basically just trying to figure out, how can I pull those groups out of there? And by pulling the group out, I'm doing repeated subtraction. Okay, now, before anybody loses their mind, I just want to remind you, this might not be your favorite strategy, and that's okay. There's always strategies that are going to work better with your brain and not so good with somebody else's, or not so good with somebody else's, but you love it. Okay? It's just another way to think about breaking apart an item. Okay? You're thinking about that Hershey bar that you use for s'mores, and you're trying to figure out, it's me and all of my neighbors at the neighborhood 4th of July party. How am I going to divide this up equally? Because Susie next door is going to go home screaming if she doesn't get as much as Bobby on the other side, right? So that's all you're trying to do is, if I take out 2 and I give them to Bobby, and then I take out 2 and I give them to Susie Sunshine, and I take out 2 and I give them to somebody else, how many times can I do that? And will it work at the end? That's what repeated subtraction is. How many times can I remove those groups and end up with 0 at the end? Okay? It's just, again, we still consider dividing as breaking something apart, but we want to have equal groups. Okay? If this isn't your favorite strategy, okay, if you really love the hammer and I just showed you the screwdriver, no problem. But you know exactly what I'm going to say, don't you? Sometimes you need the screwdriver and the hammer's not available, or the hammer won't work, you know? So all it is a way to teach you another possibility. Okay? This isn't the way you have to do it for the rest of your life. Okay? I would like you to try it though with the repeated subtraction and trying to pull out. All right, so we did 1 and 2. If you look at 3 on the R side, 16 books, 4 on each shelf. So if you've got 16 books, pull out groups of 4. How many times can you do that? How many times can you subtract 4 books from the 16? Okay, and I'll give you a hint. 4 times what equals 16? It does work that way. Okay, number 4, 18 players, 3 players on each team. So how many times, if I have our class and there's 18 kids, how many times can I take out a group of 3? You're on a team. A group of 3, you're on a team. A group of 3, you're on a team. How many before I run out? Okay. Number 5, Annie has 16 balloons. She shares them equally with Connie. How many balloons does each girl have now? 16 balloons, there's only 2 of them. How many do they have now? That's an easy one. You can even think about your doubles. Okay, number 6 is going to be complicated. You're going to have to read it a couple times. Not the, ooh, this is hard, I better stop quick. I don't want my brain to explode. Don't worry. Okay, and then I would like you to give the practice side a try. Practice, practice, practice. Boys and girls, are you realizing, though, also that we're right back at the need for multiplication practice? Because you know how we keep saying, you know, like for instance, with this one, if you don't know this answer, I would say to you, well, 2 times what equals 8? 2 times what equals 8? Okay, well, if you don't know your multiplication facts, then that strategy isn't very helpful for you. So what should you probably be doing every day? You can use flashcards. You can write them out. Maybe you like to write your numbers. Write them out. You can ask mom and dad to quiz you. I'm sure, although it wouldn't be my first choice, I'm sure there's some great apps. Daily multiplication practice, boys and girls, is going to help you tremendously. Okay, give it a try. Post it. And always feel free to write in the comments how you think it went. Okay? Okay.